Good afternoon from CBS 2 and KCAL 9. We have breaking news in the Holy Fire. This is this fire that's burning out of control in Orange and Riverside County. Lake Elsinore, some of the neighborhoods there under immediate threat right now. We want to go live to our Nicole Comstock. She's standing by. And Nicole, I know you're in this neighborhood, McVicker Canyon, where the flames are just getting dangerously close to some of the homes.
Yeah, we're live here in the McVicker Canyon Park neighborhood in Lake Elsinore, where they just had a massive flare-up from the Holy Fire. And if you take a look behind us, you can see the flames that are just kind of sparkling here in the brush behind these homes. We want to zoom over really quick, just over to the left, to show you the closest homes to this fire and where the fire retardant line is. You should have seen this thing going about 20 minutes ago when the flames were just ripping up toward these homes. And this is a neighborhood where yesterday they actually had mandatory evacuations for all the neighbors who lived over here. So most of those people did get out of the neighborhood. However, since they saw that the flames were mostly contained deeper down in the canyon, several families came back and kind of watched this fire from a lookout point here to see what was happening with it today. And they were told from firefighters earlier this morning that they were expecting the flames to come up through the canyon here, but most of the people did not expect them to come as quickly as they did. So you can see the fire was burning really intense for about 20, 30 minutes over here, where it was burning all the way down from the base of the canyon and coming uphill toward those homes, shooting really tall flames into the air that you can see peeking out from behind these two-story houses here in Lake Elsinore. So there were a couple people we saw that were still standing on their roof at that time, trying to use a garden hose to wet the shingles and make sure that the embers didn't catch on their homes. One guy who basically, the fire department had to rip him off the roof and say, "You cannot stand up there anymore." The flames were, peeking up over the top of his roof where he was standing. So it's been a very intense afternoon out here. A lot of people are on edge right now. However, it looks like for the moment, the flames from the Holy Fire that just burned up very close to these homes here in Lake Elsinore did start burning again down in the other direction, going back away from homes with all of the fire retardant drops that we just saw in the past 20 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like the situation is improving out there, and we certainly hope that's the case. That's Nicole Comstock. She's in the McVicker Canyon neighborhood in Lake Elsinore, where the flames are getting dangerously close to some homes. But the line of fire retardant has been set, and at least for now, it seems like it's holding. Let's go live up to Sky 9, Sky 2. Our Stu Mundel is over the scene. And Stu, this has just been a battle since Monday.
What? Oh, hey, sorry about that. The radio's up here a little scratchy this afternoon. I was hoping they'd take us a little bit later, Sandra. We are actually making our way back over to the fire, over to the McVicker neighborhood that now apparently under mandatory evacuations. What we're looking at right here is the best pictures we can give you, because the fire plume of smoke from the Holy Fire is just so incredibly huge. I mean, this is the actual plume, but if you live in Southern California, you know when you walk outside, you can feel it, you can smell it. It is everywhere, all the way up into the San Fernando Valley. This afternoon, when I was getting to Van Nuys, you could feel the heat from the smoke. Right now, though, the firefight, as we understand it, we've been actually I've been listening to some of the radios. They're still out there. They're still dropping Phos-Chek, but they're on the other side of that huge plume of smoke. Why doesn't the chopper just drive or fly straight over there? Why did you go around to the south to go to the north? Well, that all has stuff to do with them fighting the fire and when they put up a temporary TFR. That's that's a flight restriction area, because they're basically saying this area is used for firefighting aircraft media. We love you, but you gotta stay away. And they put us off in a farther off corner, usually up higher or farther away. And that's what's going on this afternoon. We actually had to go around to get to where we need to be. We are making progress right now. I can actually see Lake Elsinore right there over those hillsides out here in the Trabuco Canyon area. So we'll be there shortly. What are we going to see? Well, I don't know. I'm a little optimistic, though, because all the smoke this afternoon, the big plume at least, is kind of pushing more off towards the ocean. Yesterday, it was basically being pushed off towards the McVicker area and over Lake Elsinore. It seems like the winds have changed a little bit, and with those winds of change comes probably some good news for the firefighters. You'd be thinking that if the winds are pushing it back up against the hill, it's pushing back into an area that's already burned. So we'll see what that looks like when we get around to the other side. Right now, though, sadly, this is about the only picture we can give you from Sky 9 this afternoon at this time. But we definitely want to see what's going on. We're worried about those communities that are being evacuated. And of course, there's one of those times when you think to yourself, being in the chopper is the place to be. I think those ground people this afternoon, they're the ones in the thick of it with all the activity going on right now. I might be a little jealous of that. Sandra?
All right, Stu, thanks. We'll let you move Sky 9 and Sky 2 closer to the actual scene of the fire, but we can see this thick smoke. And if you're anywhere near Orange or Riverside counties right now, you can see the effects of that. We're going to welcome in our viewers on KCAL 9 right now. This is breaking news, a major flare-up in Riverside County. This is near Lake Elsinore, the McVicker Canyon neighborhood, and we've been watching the flames from the Holy Fire move very close to a neighborhood. Edgewood Court and McVicker Canyon is the area of biggest concern right now. Those homes have been evacuated. The fire crews told people who evacuated from the neighborhood that the flames were going to get very close to those homes this afternoon. Some of those people who were evacuated actually came back to the neighborhoods. We've seen people standing on the roofs with gardening hoses going right up against this major wildfire this afternoon. Most of those people now are back out of the neighborhood. The danger is very real, though. Fire crews are on the ground. They're also fighting it from the air. We've seen that huge DC-10 put down lines of fire retardant right behind these homes. And as of right now, we have not seen any homes go up in flames. So that's the good news. The bad news is that there are fierce winds in the area. It is very hot. It is very dry. And this firefight is very real. Again, this is a major flare-up happening right now in McVicker Canyon. The neighborhood of most concern is around Edgewood Court and McVicker Canyon. So that's where fire crews are concentrating their efforts right now in the Lake Elsinore area. Some new mandatory evacuations to tell you about. Again, as we explained, about 20,000 people out of their homes. Now, these new evacuations, all homes on the mountainside of Lake Street to the southwest of Grand Avenue all the way to Ortega Highway. Again, new evacuations this afternoon. These areas of Lake Elsinore, the immediate concern, and this is where the firefight is really entrenched right now. We're also getting some word that some schools that just reopened for the new school year will be closed tomorrow. We don't have specifics on that, but we could tell you if your schools are in that area, you might want to check with the district if you haven't heard from them yet about whether or not to send the kids off to school in the morning. The Holy Fire, major flare-up this afternoon. 9,600 acres have burned since this fire started on Monday. Again, this is the Lake Elsinore area. Orange County, Riverside County is the area of concern. Stu Mundel over the scene right now. And Stu, looks like you're getting closer to those flames.
That's right, and you know this is not the McVicker Canyon area right here. This is an area that's a little bit more to the east, and we are seeing some flames in the hillsides near some homes. You guys are talking about the winds changing out here, and that I'd almost think that those winds would be a benefit, basically pushing the smoke the other direction, smoke and fire as it would be. The McVicker neighborhood, like I said, we're just getting established, is actually underneath this smoke cloud. We were using a water tower the other day to actually locate that neighborhood. I believe that is going to be the water tower right there, and this is what we're looking through. This is it is heavy smoke down there. It's very difficult to see. We don't see any of those heavy flames on the hillside, but so we might not be looking at the right neighborhood. We do know that this area right here, yesterday there was a shelf of smoke that was basically just coming over the entire Lake Elsinore area. Today, though, you can see the winds are basically pushing it the other direction, basically back on itself. That's really great news for the firefighters, and hopefully the fire behavior will respond well with that also, meaning any of that fire that's moving down that hillside now will have a little bit of wind pushing it back into the area that's already burned and basically putting itself out. This neighborhood right here, we'll try to get you some names of these streets, but you can see the flames in this picture very close to homes up on the hillside still, and you can see that smoke basically rolling from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, and that's probably just going to be that little bit of light breeze this afternoon. And this will be helpful for the firefighters, might kind of push those basically just kind of nudge those flames in a direction up that hillside and not down towards those homes. We haven't seen any firefighting aircraft in this area since we arrived. We are going to start taking a look and listening in and seeing where they are battling these flames. That heavy smoke may be a deterrent, especially for those fixed wings, but that doesn't mean those helicopters won't be able to get in there. They'll probably be able to get in and do some drops, especially if they have those flare-ups so close to homes. Right here on another side of the fire, on the most eastern side of the fire, we can see a large fire line and a lot of huge flames out here. No homes in this area, no communities there. There appears to be there's some structures in the bottom part of the screen, but it doesn't seem to be any communities out here. This firefight has just been endless. It has started on Monday. We were over here at about the same time over the Trabuco Canyon looking at this fire when it was just 1,000 acres, now well over 6,000 acres, and the number of firefighters basically doubled on the ground as well. These flames continue to devour this the Cleveland National Forest out here. The holy fire has just been relentless, and the number of evacuations, I saw that earlier, Sandra, they were talking about 20,000 people, I think was the number.
That's right.
That is just enormous, enormous.
Yeah, Stu, you mentioned the helicopters and the planes that are going in there. You're up in a chopper right now. What are the conditions like for the crews that have to fly right into this smoke?
Well, I can tell you Sky 9 would not do that. It's just pretty much that simple. Those guys might have a little added equipment on board where they can fly in those situations. And also there's a difference between gathering news and then saving lives and property. So those guys, highly trained professionals, they'll fly in that smoke, they'll get down low, and they'll do those water drops when they need to. And that's the thing also. It's going to be a risk versus a damage type of thing. How much are they going to save by taking these risks? And if there is a lot of property, they probably will start taking those risks. Right now, though, we haven't seen any. I was looking in the Lake Elsinore the actual lake. I do see a couple of the helicopters out there. I know it's not the most dramatic shot to see, but we like to just kind of watch and keeping an eye out the window while we're showing the flames, where they're going exactly, what neighborhoods they're hitting, where they're dropping this water. That's going to be one of the aircraft right there. I know there was another one there moments ago. These aircraft, they can basically get the water themselves. They don't have to land. They don't have to be pumped off of a hydrant or something with water. You can see that hose right there, snorkel, but just dropping it in, picking up that water, and then making their way out. There are a couple of them, and there's also the smaller ones. Helicopters, actually more like Sky 9, that actually have buckets, and they will make their way down there as well. That's not the same type of Sky 9, but they have some out here as well that are basically just carrying buckets. They also can just dip out here, as it would be, and run out to the fire and make those drops. We're going to keep an eye on these helicopters, see where they're going. Those flames that we've been keeping an eye on, not at the McVicker Canyon area, but in a neighborhood a little bit more to the east, still are pluming up on the side of the on the hill there. But it does appear that they may be moving up that hillside, which is great news for those homeowners. Sandra?
Yeah, we know that traditionally fire behavior makes the fire move faster uphill. So as you said, it doesn't look like there's any property at the top of that, any homes at the top of the hill. So that would be the good news, because we do see that rather large neighborhood and a lot of houses at the base of that hill. So we'll keep an eye on that situation. Again, we've got 20,000 homes evacuated in the Holy Fire in Riverside and Orange County. The new evacuations to tell you about this afternoon, all homes on the mountainside of Lake Street, southwest of Grand Avenue to Ortega Highway. Now, these new mandatory evacuations that just happened within the last hour. Our Nicole Comstock has been out on the fire lines this afternoon in neighborhoods in Lake Elsinore. And Nicole, we've seen some scary stuff. How's it look right now?
Yeah, it really flared up out here in Lake Elsinore in the McVicker Canyon Park neighborhood just about maybe 30 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago now. And if you take a look behind us here, you can see the flames from the Holy Fire that are just ripping up that hillside there. And this is nothing compared to what it looked like out here, like I said, about 40 minutes ago, when flames were much closer to these homes, really right up on the backyards of these houses. And you can see the flames shooting up all the way past two-story homes out here, which, by the way, at that point still had at least one neighbor out here standing on top of his roof just down the street over there by, I believe it is Edgewood Court, hosing off his shingles on the roof with the flames shooting up right in his face, still trying as best as he could to protect his home. Now, from what we saw right before we left, just around the corner there, it seemed like the flames still did stop at the fire retardant line that was put down there yesterday. But for a moment, it looked just crazy there, like an inferno burning in between all of these houses right behind them. It was really because the flames were deep down in the canyon and coming uphill, so they were extremely tall and setting off a lot of thick black smoke. So the neighbors that eventually moved back into the neighborhood yesterday to kind of keep an eye out on the fire and see what was going on, they started running away from their homes again because they didn't expect it to come at them that quickly, guys.
Nicole, last time we talked to you and we could hear the winds, we could see the wind kind of whipping around out there. Has it calmed down?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, did you ask me about the rain right now or about, yeah, okay.
When?
We were hearing that there might be rain out here at some points, and a little bit earlier today, maybe at around 11 o'clock, I thought I felt a couple sprinkles in town by the high school, but nothing ever really fell over here. You can see that it was raining fire retardant, however, on all of these houses right here, and that's right after the flames from the holy fire came right into backyards here. I mean, it's not even pink, it's bright red all over these streets right here in front of the homes, on the driveways, on the cars. And that's a good sign because it means if the flames did creep back over here again, they have a really thick line of defense here. But right now it looks like they've moved back into the canyon for the moment.
And just looking, Nicole, at those fire crews, they seem to be a bit more relaxed. So I think that would be a good indication that perhaps they feel pretty confident about this firefight.
Fire crews are much more relaxed, and we'll walk with you again to show you than they were about 40 minutes ago out here. A couple of the trucks from Riverside County you can see are just posted up in driveways. They're out here for structure protection, so they're also utilizing the backyards here, and we just saw maybe 15 minutes unlock her backyard gate to let some of these firefighters in here to make sure that they can bring hoses in the backyards and that they can try to do whatever they can to fight this fire from the ground, at least just to keep the flames away from the houses here. But mostly because the flames have been so big and burning in this really steep, brushy terrain, they've had to fight this by air, so they are relying heavily on fire retardant out here.
Yeah, I think yesterday the fire crews said they anticipated that this fire was going to come right up to the back of these homes, and they told the homeowners there it's going to get very, very close. But boy, we can see these crews are experts. They know exactly what they're doing. They laid down that fire retardant. They have meteorologists who work on these fire scenes. They have scientists who are predicting the fire behavior, matching it up with the weather, exactly where the fire is going to go next. And that's how they know to put down that line of fire retardant. And it looks like, at least for now, they have saved this neighborhood in the McVicker Canyon area this afternoon. Again, that was our Nicole Comstock on Edgewood Lane, just east of McVicker. Let's go up to Stu Mundel. He's overhead in Sky 9 for us this afternoon. Stu, I know last time we talked to you, you said you were not in the McVicker Canyon area, but this was a new area of the fire that looked like it was pretty close to some homes as well.
Well, we were just listening to Nicole down there talking about the flames getting up close to these homes. Perhaps where she is going to be that neighborhood that we're seeing right there. And these flames at the bottom of the screen right now that are dying out were those flames that she was talking about moments ago. Now, this area right here, you can see it's a little bit of a hillside right there. And I'm sure with the light grass that's on that hillside, those flames coming up, it must have looked ominous for that neighborhood. You actually have fire crews up there on one of those access roads. You can see a couple of the trucks. Have to excuse the picture quality, but that's just the way it looks. It is such thick smoke out here this afternoon. And also, just to show the wind behavior and how it changes up so much, when we first arrived here on scene, all this smoke was basically moving from screen right to screen left off to this direction. Now it actually seems to be swaying back this way again, dumping all that heavy smoke back over the Lake Elsinore area.
This is the Lake Elsinore area where we've got homes threatened this afternoon. Stay with us right here. We're going to continue our live coverage on Facebook Live. For those of you on KCAL 9 News, we'll say goodbye to you on our television coverage right now. We'll see you back here on KCAL 9 News at 4 o'clock. As we continue our live coverage on Facebook Live right now, this is the Holy Fire burning out of control in Orange County, Riverside County, and the area of biggest concern right now is the McVicker Canyon area of Lake Elsinore. A number of homes are threatened. We've got new evacuations to tell you, as 20,000 people are forced out of their homes this afternoon because of this fire that's been burning out of control since Monday. Fire crews now say only 5% contained. It's scary to think about, but these new evacuations, all homes on the mountainside of Lake Street, southwest of Grand Avenue, all the way to Ortega Highway. They're evacuating those neighborhoods. This is a mandatory evacuation. So it means if you know somebody in that area, you should let them know that there are these mandatory evacuations going on and they need to get out of the area as quickly and as safely as possible. The reason for that is to allow fire crews to get into the area to defend those homes. They don't want a lot of cars in the area if they need to be moving major equipment in and out. The bulk of this firefight has been from the air. We've seen helicopters and we've seen the huge DC-10 laying down the fire retardant, and that has been perhaps the key to saving homes in this area this afternoon, because the fire got right up to the backyards of some homes on McVicker Canyon and the Edgewood Lane neighborhood. That's the video you're looking at on the right side there. This is just from really within the last hour. Our Nicole Comstock is out there and she saw those flames get really close. If you look closely, you're going to see a guy on the roof of that house. He had a garden hose. He was trying to save his house and he was doing what he could until the fire crews said, hey, buddy, come on down. It's just too dangerous, because those huge flames, they were almost twice as high as those two-story homes, if you can imagine that. So the fire retardant is down. It seems to be holding for now. We've got Stu Mundel. He's overhead in Sky 9 and Sky 2 for us. Stu, where are you now?
We're still over the Lake Elsinore area, looking down, trying to find that exact McVicker Canyon area. We believe that that's it right there under the smoke, and it does seem like maybe that immediate hazard of fire has kind of passed. As you can see, not a lot of active flame out there right now, a lot of heavy smoke. The wind directions, that is very interesting stuff. I'm not sure what exactly happened out here, but we actually have seen a shift while we've been here, and we haven't even been here that long. When we first were arriving, all the smoke was kind of going out towards the ocean side. Now it's coming back towards the inland side. So those type of changes are huge. Sandy, you were talking about the 20,000 people being evacuated. Just to kind of put that all into perspective, you got to think about it. 20,000 people, that's the size of a small town. You know, this is an entire town that's been evacuated out here. We were talking about that area that you were talking, I think you said Lake Street and Grand, or is basically the cross, and then everything basically up against the hillside. That's definitely this area that we're showing you right there. And it pans off into that heavy smoke, and it kind of goes off into that gray haze, because that's all that we can see right now. When we first arrived here, the smoke was a little bit different, and that shows us what's happening out here with these wind conditions, and also what is probably prompted that quick reaction from all those firefighters, and also the flames. All of a sudden, the winds will change up, and then the flames have all this new fuel to devour and start these big fires. And that's what will happen. They'll just blossom up like that. Right now, though, the firefight definitely continuing. We've got helicopters picking up water out of the Lake Elsinore area. We see them dropping on this little hillside right here. And this is close to the McVicker Canyon, probably a little bit more to the east. We've been watching. I've been kind of keeping an eye on them. I was really wanting to see them do a drop, but they all kind of just disappear off into that darkness of smoke out there, so we can't really follow them with the camera this afternoon. The firefight, well, that continues. 600, almost 700 firefighters on the ground and in the air battling these flames. You've got a number of fire departments out here. That's the multi-task force that they've got going on. Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange County, Cal Fire, Forest Service, they're all here right now in some capacity battling these flames. As the flames get closer, though, I mean, when it's in the forest, it's a big deal, but when it starts getting closer to these neighborhoods and homes, that's when they really have to ramp it all up and to basically concentrate all those efforts on these homes. This firefight in the Lake Elsinore area continues. Sandy?
All right, Stu, thanks for the excellent coverage this afternoon. Again, 20,000 homes evacuated, 9,600 acres have burned. This is the Holy Fire, the area of concern, Lake Elsinore right now. We'll continue our coverage coming up on KCAL 9 News at 4 o'clock. Hey, thanks for joining us live on Facebook.
We're not 9 Hotel, we're 211. We did make wasn't a dramatic turn, but we made a little bit of a turn to head back to John Wayne. Probably, yeah. What happened? Oh, just flying. Can't imagine. .211 TOC on 2. Hey there, we are losing viable pictures, and may we knock it down as we make our way back to John Wayne.